Energy Healing Conference Facebook page, my Spring Energy Healing Conference.
It does all that at once?
It does all of these at once. Plus, it's on my YouTube channel too.
Oh, really?
So anyway, it's awesome. Okay.
No pressure.
No, this is so good. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. I, as we always do, come on Fridays about 10 o'clock and try to speak and train and teach, and we have guest speakers. And today I have my good friend, Dr. David Hone from Salmon, Idaho, just happened to be in the area. So he decided to pop in today, and he's going to be teaching us some really awesome stuff, specifically in regards to chronic issues. This is per my request. Lots of my clients lately have been coming to me with things like fibromyalgia, Lyme's, EBV, Hashimoto's, like all kinds of things that they've already been diagnosed with. I'm not diagnosing with anybody, but they've already been talking to a doctor or working with a doctor or something like that, sometimes for decades. And they're looking for support, and I can help them to a certain point. And then I'm like, yo, you need to talk to my good friend, Dr. David Hone. He is, let's see if we can get this a little more centered. No, I'm going the wrong way. I keep doing that. So we want to hear from you guys. Can you go ahead and tune in, tell us where you're from, and then I also would like to invite you to just do an introduction. Okay. Like do a more thorough introduction, not like a 10-second introduction, but like a 4 or 5 minute introduction. Okay. So they get to know you. Sure. And then I'll be back in a minute, but tune in and tell us where you're from. Okay.
Thanks. So I'm Dr. Hone. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'll do the quick part first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Chinese energetic medicine. And, oh, hi from England. That's awesome. In Texas, all over the place here. So I have a unique childhood. I'm brought up. I was partly raised between Utah, Idaho. Whoa, camera's backwards. Idaho, Utah, and Jerusalem, Israel. And I've been a student of ancient scripture throughout my life. Also have a background in well, a lot of different areas. I've studied a lot of different things. I ran away from medicine for a number of years, but even when I was young, had an ability to feel and to understand the movements of energy. I didn't know they were energy at the time. I just thought, oh, it's just this light, and you just work with it, and you talk to it, and it can change. And then with time, I learned more about putting your intention in that you could talk to nerves and cells and just get them to move. About in 2004, I worked with doing some research with a lady by the name of Frances Perry. And it was mostly with cancer, but we worked on some other things as well. We got into biofeedback, and I learned a lot more about nutrition from my uncle, who's a naturopathic doctor in Canada. And we were helping people big time. And I got around Rife frequencies and something called the multi-wave oscillator. And the way that the Rife happened was through projecting the frequencies through light and having them emit at you. Well, I knew the frequencies and I could feel them, and so I would take them and be able to project them back out. Well, kind of scared some people, so I ran away from it for a while because I didn't want to scare people, and then went and about a decade later, well, less than a decade later, but 2010, 2011, I got into body talk and other energetic workshops. And it just grew and grew and grew. So I've been studying and doing this for a substantial amount of time now. And it's just been natural. When I went to Pacific College of Oriental Medicine, some of the people there called me the golden child of the school. 7 of the 10 doctors on the shifts, clinical shifts, became my clients and wanted me to do sessions and consult them. It was really fun, but I knew Chinese medicine. I didn't have to study so hard for the Chinese medicine classes. It was exactly like what I was talking about and doing. And they ended up sending me to go train. They paid for classes for me to go and study with Tranquil Cloud Temple. and that's in Chicago area. And when I was first there, a lot shifted for me because I saw that I was actually doing practices very similar or pretty close to the same as medical Qigong. And then started collecting different things. I studied with Dr. D'Angelo and Shannon, Dr. Shannon. And then over the last few years, I've been studying with Sifu Johnson in Sifu Lake. Jerry Allen Johnson is the Grand Master of this, and he's kind of the main person. And Chinese medicine is my main thing, but a few years ago, I had enough nutritional background that they asked me to take an exam, and whatever section I didn't pass, they said that I would have to take those courses and I could get a naturopathic doctorate. Well, I ended up testing out of everything, and they ended up giving me a naturopathic doctorate, a doctorate of naturopathy, because they said I scored higher than anybody who'd ever taken the test. So that's awesome. Mostly thanks to my uncle. He really
What's your uncle's
well.
name?
His name's Eugene Pontius. He lives in British Columbia.
Eugene?
Yeah.
Cool.
He's he goes by Gene Pontius.
Look at this. We got people from all over the place.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Idaho, England, Texas.
Hi, England. That's awesome.
And Bountiful.
Where's our Austria friend?
Indiana,
she's not on.
Nevada.
Darn it. Yeah, we've got people from all over the place. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Well, and I just totally interrupted you.
Oh, no, that's fine.
But I'm really good at interrupting him. I do it.
And it's needed.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you while you use the restroom. I appreciate you expanding a little bit. Anybody who's on right now, I want to invite you guys to tag your friends that you think would be really interested in learning about chronic issues specifically, or energy work, or naturopath work, or what else do you do? You're training all kinds of stuff.
I mostly focus on the Chinese medicine, but at the same time, I'm integrating with the naturopathic and the Chinese medicine, so that there's a little bit more on the energetic side to understand nutritionals, because I'm more on the Chinese energetic side. I actually quit acupuncture school when I got doing it because I'm like, I don't need a needle to go poke someone, so I might as well do it the
so
other way.
Nice.
So.
Anyone else happy to hear that? I'm not a fan of them myself, so
I can handle acupuncture needles, but I go, why?
So I'm going to ask the question, yes or no. Go ahead in the comments. Let us know, you guys, if you are familiar with Qigong. And do I say that right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Qigong, perfect.
Okay, so you can keep going with you learned from Eugene?
Well, I learned the naturopath from him. Dr. Johnson, because he is the one who taught everybody I learned Qigong from. He's the real teacher. I've been privileged to be taking courses with him and doing another doctorate in Chinese energetic medicine. Awesome. And I'm a founder of Molian Qigong. And I'm sure that there's some that aren't familiar with what that is, and we can talk about it. But it's basically Chinese energetic medicine is what they're starting to call it, at least from this practice from Dr. Johnson. He says medical Qigong was too confusing to people. So we're trying to change it to a term that people can understand a little bit better here.
Okay, so tell me the term one more time.
So Chinese energetic medicine. However, Qi is the vital light that fills all things. And Gong means cultivation and skill at working with. So Qi can also mean breath or vital life energy or things like that. So there's a lot of, Chinese is more circular in the way they talk about things. So you'll hear me say Qi for this and Qi for that, and each one has a specific thing based on context. But in general, when you talk about Qigong, it's a skill of cultivating and working with light and energy. So it's kind of fun.
It's pretty cool. I'm excited. We had him come into our advanced class today, and that was really fun to have you addressing specific concerns for people, and that was really cool. At the end of the presentation here today, we are going to be doing some Q&A, so please feel free to write down your questions so that we can help you with that. Look at how many people have never heard of it. They're not familiar with it. They don't know what it is. I mean, here we're on an energy healing conference page, and where people have been studying all different types of modalities and information, but they're not familiar with this.
Yeah.
And how long has that been around?
This is documented at least 4,500 years. And we know they're talking about it from ancient time. So it's been around for a long time. And it came from, it wasn't always called Qigong. It used to be called Daoyin practice. And this cultivation practice, or the way, Dao means way. And so it's the practice of just growing and cultivating your energy. And they've studied it and documented cases and done that for almost 4,500 years. That's a long time.
It is.
You know, and so when you talk about crazy. Probably one of the most efficacious medicines in the world that is so little known because of clinical efficacy. And I prefer empirical evidence to other things. Empirical evidence means that you're...
I was just going to say, you're using a lot of big words. I know what they are because I've asked people several times, what does that mean? But maybe other people don't. So maybe break that down just a little bit.
Empirical evidence means clinical-based evidence. It means real-life evidence. When you do it in a perfect lab situation, you're going to get what you're looking for. When you're out in the real world and you see it working for conditions and solving problems, now that's real. And so I prefer empirical evidence. And whether you're doing acupuncture, which is part of the Chinese medicine, or you're doing the Tui Na, which is the massage part of Chinese medicine, pushing hands, or you're doing these other things, there's a lot of things that it just ties it in. Well, the Qigong is one of the oldest branches of Chinese medicine. And originally, it's also the herbology and nutrition is part of it. So with the naturopathic part and the energy of the food, I bring that in when I'm teaching. I try to help people understand that aspect as well so that they can be able to have it help them more. So
it's awesome. I love it. Who's like already geeking out on this and is excited as heck, like I am right now? Like, I feel like a little girl on the inside, just to let you know, that's like going like this. Like, I'm so excited. I'm seeing, I can feel you guys too, just so you know. So that's pretty awesome.
Oh, you know what? We have a good comment here from Una.
Yeah.
Stefan. Actually, Western society is accepting the Chinese medicine more and more. You have it in Scripps Clinic, in Mayo Clinic, in Hopkins, and in Cleveland clinics. They are all including the Chinese medicine as part of it. So for those who do other energetic arts that want more recognition, actually Chinese energetic medicine is a really good addition to the other certifications and things you can have, because it is seen as more efficacious. And there's so many studies. You go to like the National Health Association or that and read the studies. There's thousands of studies about the efficacy. You have even here locally in Utah, University of Utah did a study of how it corrects your telomeres. Telomeres are on the end of your genetic chain and can actually help. It rebuilds the telomeres, which help with aging. So you can reverse some of the things of aging and doing that. Then they found out at Huntsman, that's also local here, Huntsman Cancer, that they can, if they do their Qigong practice, they can start changing, not have neuropathy and not have bad things from, even if they are getting chemo and radiation and those other things. So there's been substantial studies in cancer, which is Dr. Johnson's main specialty. I've seen it benefit so many areas, and I have doctors that refer people to me, medical doctors and naturopathic doctors and DOs, you name them.
Energy workers.
Yeah, energy workers. You have a lot of people who refer over to this because it can, if you're open to it, it can kind of breach the gap. It can help create a bridge between it.
You mean we're not just physical bodies? There's more to us? Sorry, I'm being a smart butt.
No, it's true though. Like, well, they're having to recognize that, and actually, some of the things that have gone on now have actually grown. So yes, it's actually mostly in the last couple of decades that this has been softening. For a while, they were really against Chinese medicine, and so it's really taken some time to start bridging those gaps and show that it's just science. A lot of people, they get into energy work and they think it's not scientific, or so it's both sides. Both sides go, no, this is not medicine, or this is not health, this is this or this, you know. And the truth is that everything is everything.
Yeah.
And you can't, if you deny the energy and the other spiritual natures, you're going to deny part of what's needed for total healing. We've seen that from psychology. Psychologists are some of my biggest referrers, but I refer out to them too. So sometimes you need to use what people need. It's not about you as the practitioner. Doctors don't heal anybody. I don't care what your profession is. You don't heal anybody. That happens through divine and through them healing themselves as they get in alignment with those things that enhance their body. So that's where healing occurs. But a physician doesn't heal anybody. And sometimes it slips out my mouth like, oh, I help them heal or something like that. And then I'm like, oh, no, technically all I did is connect them and they got better.
Yeah.
But there's amazing things. We've worked with multiple sclerosis, a lot of different brain and neurological problems. I happen to be really good at that. One of the teachers said that don't see me. David's a soft tissue guy, go see David. But I've included different manipulations to help, I call it structural energetic alignment for the spine, to help align some of those things and do that. So even though techniques change and some of it seems newer, it is really old in practice, and it's just applying those to the new situations.
It's phenomenal. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Well, you've really dedicated your life to really being able to help people with that.
It's everything I'm about. I love this, and I love serving people, and it's exciting for me. It's one of the most exciting things for me is to do this work, and to see people light up and have hope. This is a medicine of hope. When you're told it's not possible, that's when I go, okay, good. Let's do this then.
I love it. So I do have a couple of questions for you. So if someone was somewhere else on the planet and they wanted to learn about this, where would you recommend that they go? Because I know you have this one-day training that's coming up, and it's totally free. And I kind of feel like I gave you a kick in the pants on that.
You did.
I was like, create this for people. This is it's so good, you guys. I literally have been telling everyone that I know, all my clients, sending his website to everyone that I know. So I'm so excited that you're here today to be able to let people know about this. I'm curious, can we maybe even share with them how they can find out more about that?
Yeah, and we're slowly getting our website up more. When it came a lot faster when I talked to her than I was ready for. But we have a full year course, actually a 4-year course coming up. But each year you get another level of practitioner, then therapist, and master and doctor. But this December, and we don't have the date yet, and so we're asking people to either email the. I think you put it in the
right
chat.
Here.
Yeah, the
Flip across the screen right now.
Dr. Hone at elementsoflifeinstitute.com. You can email there and say, I'm interested in this free Zoom meeting that we're going to do. I had to figure out a way to make it to where it could get to more people, because people just can't travel, or we've been quarantined so much.
Yeah.
And I got the ideas from Dr. Johnson as well. And right before COVID started, something said, you need to get online. You need to start teaching this online. And I'm like, you can't teach Qigong online. It's a physical, I got to get in there. But then they've shown me that they can. So
awesome.
Sifu Lake and Sifu, yeah, there's specific things for that, Jody. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But there's a lot of different practices that can be taught online, and we can help you with that. So on the free day that she's talking about that's coming up, I want to help people have a little bit of hope and give them some tools that, regardless of no matter what you're doing, that you just have those and they can help you. And if you're an energy worker of some kind, having those tools, because we're so empathic a lot of times that we're pulling in all this stuff from other people. And so you have to have these tools so that you can be able to disconnect and be clean and think clear, and it'll actually help you as a practitioner. So we'd toyed around with the name Healthcare for Healers, but then I had someone say, that sounds like a health insurance program. And I'm like, well, kind of your own health insurance program, but we're going to toy with the name a little bit and get it to where it doesn't have any negative connotations to people. But it's actually, you are your best physician. And when you help you,
I like that.
You really are. Yeah. And well, it's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're your best physician. And it actually, having some of these tools helps you to be a better physician for your people and to see more clearly. If you have any skills that you want to grow, doing this work, you can't help it. Everybody has the ability to see, feel, hear, think, anything in the energetic and spiritual aspects, but they need to train it. They need to become more sensitive. And I use this analogy. So when I was a kid, and I'm still not, I did not choose to follow this route, but my grandmother would have us thread needles, and she was trying to get us to sew and do all that. I'd watch her, and she'd just be talking and thread the needle and go, and then start going. And I'm like, it was the most difficult thing for me, and it was really frustrating. And so one day I asked her, I said, how did you get to just feel and know that? And she goes, practice. I had to just keep doing it. I had to keep feeling and touching it. And pretty soon it became really easy, and I could just thread it and I could just do it. And that's the same with any energetic sensitivities that you want to obtain. The thing is with Qigong, they found specific things that work the best. And so it helps you in your structure. The other thing is it comes to licensing. Energetics is soon, I keep getting told from multiple angles that they're trying to start regulating, and I believe they will be able to do it, energetic medicine. So having these lineages and these things becomes really important. So the lineage of it is great because this lineage that I'm in is like 4,600 years old. They actually, talking to one of the other teachers, he says technically it's almost 6,000 years old, but we don't have the evidence to say how long that was, but it's very old. So in when you're doing some of these different things, just getting some of that and some of the tools, we want to provide that, and even free for that 2 days or 1 day seminar, so that you can.
I put that up, and so we have 2 free offerings. We have to learn about the Chinese energetic medicine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to make sure I say it right, like you are.
I'd like to call it Chinese clinical.
Yeah.
Energetic clinical.
Yeah, because it can be proven.
Yeah.
That is happening, but we don't have a date for that yet. All you have to do is email, and the email's up across the screen. And then I have a 2 free day training. It's actually next week.
It does say 2 days on there.
So that one is different, but I just didn't want to forget. I just got sent the link. She said, just post it right now so you don't forget. And I will. So I posted that.
I am planning on it being a full day
cool.
Training on that. And maybe we'll try to do it on a weekend so that people can actually feel like they can be there.
Do you know if you're planning on recording that at all?
Yes, it will be recorded.
So you guys have no excuse. Like, if you want to learn more, just all you have to do is send an email to him right there. And then somebody either from your team or you will message them back the details and maybe even a form to just register for free. So it'll be really pretty easy to do. And then if they can't attend live, they can watch the recording and learn for themselves too.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
We're going to have it on Kajabi to where they can log in anytime and just go do it. It'll just be a free thing. I already have it listed on there, but I haven't picked a time yet for it.
Yeah, that's so perfect. I love it. Well, I'm so excited because, yeah, we have people from all over the place that normally would not be able to take advantage of that. And they're totally going to be able to now. So this is awesome stuff. And when we were talking yesterday about the NCCOEP, that board that I just we've had lawyers and different things, different people talk about all of the stuff with the training and the empirical evidence. Like, we've talked about that on this program, on this show here before. And you're saying, and if you have the right training and the right lineage, then that's going to be pretty easy to do. I mean, I connected you with Dr. Melinda Connor just yesterday so that your students can go ahead and go through that process. It's pretty cool when you can actually see that. It's
just a matter of time before that actually occurs to where we're going to need
I don't think it's going to be more than a year or two.
That's what I'm being told from people as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be really good. And I told you about my experience on why I think that's so important.
Yeah. I agree. That was a very good example, actually.
Yeah. We're talking about, like, I went to a reflexologist and we'll just put it this way. Some shady stuff was going on there, and I want to make sure that I bring more credibility to the industry. It's going to be important. So yeah, Gina's and Christine saying, hey, I can't see the email address. It is showing behind the comments. Okay, that means we need to not talk for just a minute because there's a caption that's going across the screen. So I'm going to be quiet for just a minute so that they can see the email. And I can put it in the comments too. Oops.
Like such a long email address.
All right.
Yeah. That bomb.
So that's the email. I'm going to go ahead and put that there for you guys. Dr. Hone at elementsoflifeinstitute.com. Yeah, I forget that totally happens. So yeah, let's see. Block somebody here that's putting some inappropriate crap on there. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have some questions that are coming in about chronic issues. Are you ready to start going for it?
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds fantastic.
Okay, and let's see, do we need to start with any disclaimers?
Well, yeah, we could easily do that. So like I said just a minute ago, you know, doctors don't heal. You are your best physician. However, you do need to be mindful if you're on any other pharmaceuticals, or if you're on certain herbs or other things, you do need to counsel with your healthcare providers about different things. Qigong exercise can be a little strenuous, as well as just taking herbs. A lot of people think, oh, it's just nutrition. But if you're on, for instance, some blood thinners or different heart medications or thyroid medication, you need to know that you're going to have to kind of watch some of the things as they move on with a physician, so that you don't really throw everything off, because it literally changes the physical nature. So
yeah,
it's real.
It's way more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that those are things to keep in mind. And before practicing, it's also good to just check and make sure that your condition is okay. So if you have fractured spine, I saw someone who mentioned that up there. Then
look at this comment. This is
we need to
probably
do
the
that.
funnest comment I've ever seen come up. They said, damn, had a phone call. Hope I didn't miss too much. That's what I was thinking when I had to run to the bathroom. I'm right there with you. Okay, sorry.
Thanks. That's funny. So no, we'll make sure you don't. Okay. No, there's a lot of different. I don't remember where I was right there, but there's things that we can.
It's affecting things
that
physically. So yeah.
And we can make adjustments based on your physiology, but you have to communicate it, and you need to talk to a doctor about if it's getting. Qigong is not strenuous. It's not like yoga. It's, in fact, where it is and it isn't. Yoga uses more of these more strenuous movements, and Qigong is learning how to move in harmony and stillness. So there's times of yang energy that's more active, and then there's times of yin energy that's more slow and meditative. So perfect yin would be sitting completely still, meditating. Full yang is like running. It's out there with full movement and very little meditation. Okay, so we always mix them. We have yin and yang in the movements, like the symbol of the yin and yang show that is there, balancing and harmonizing the two to return back to a state of wuji, which is perfect balance between them. You know, it's the without extreme. Okay, so it can help a number of conditions, though, like we're talking. In fact, we don't like to say it's a complete panacea or complete, like this, it'll help everything alone. You need to be mindful and learn about things. However, can it help almost anything? Well, I believe that you can help almost anything if you understand where it's coming from and correct those imbalances. Because most dis-ease, disease is just that. It's dis-ease. It's just you in a state that you have to figure out how to get out of that state. So even if there's infections or other things, there's still solutions to work with, both on the physical nature, the energetic nature, and on the spiritual nature. And it just brings all that. And one of those, like you had in the thing about energetic sensitivity, that's a really important thing for you to just start paying attention to in everything. So starting to realize that everything has energy. It has all these different aspects. It's very important.
Absolutely. I agree. So this is so freaking awesome. I'm so excited. So let's see. Jody says, can it actually heal back fractures to avoid surgery? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I get scared of those words, claims, but so I'm not making a claim.
Heal fractures and surgery.
Okay, but yes, we've seen benefits to where people healed without the need of surgery from doing certain things. Each condition is a little different. You got to go, why is it fracturing? Well, a lot of times when you're getting osteoporosis or you had some kind of really bad injury or even osteopenia, you can start seeing that. So when you're looking at those type of conditions that people have been diagnosed with, from the naturopathic side, there's specific nutrients that you're not receiving. From the Chinese medicine side, we look at the organs and the reason that you're not receiving it. What is going on in the body? What organ is associated with bone? Well, that's kidney. You know, it's the water element. Your kidneys govern bone. And not only do they govern bone, but they govern the nerves. So you have nerves and bone, and then they govern also the endocrine system. So in the endocrine system, it helps you with your calcium and it helps you with good function of that. So bones and marrow, which is the sea of marrow, which it's encased in bone, the brain, okay, and the entire spinal cord. So when you're looking at bones specifically, then there's going to be a kidney deficiency and a mineral problem in the body. So you need to look at the minerals that are needed to grow in the body, but you need to look at the energy of the kidney and how to help that. What we do in treatment for something like a fracture is we do an energetic casting, where we're taking and we go up the spine and we would be casting it, going up and down, spiraling different, focusing on color and sound. Well, we have to be careful with sound when it's a fracture, but we're using that and coating it, and it can make it to where it feels stiff, to where they won't over move it. But you have to be careful on specific exercises. So we like to treat them and give them exercises that they can minimally stress that just enough to help it strengthen back up. And that generally will come in and help you so that you can have the healing that you need in that. I like Standard Process, a company. Royal Lee was the founder of it, and he was known as the father of nutrition in the West. And I use a few specific things. And what I need you to do, if there are things like that, that's something to seek out. Someone like me and others that could help you with that. Nutritionally, you have to look at whatever you're on. Sometimes the pharmaceuticals you're on play a role in actually the degradation because they're covering up the symptom and not actually helping with the cure. And cure is kind of a strong word, but it's more like the cause of disease. Let's find the cause, then we can work on solving the problem from that. And again, it comes down to teaching you what to do to strengthen it. That's actually the most important.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Well, there are lots and lots of questions that are coming in. I'm so excited. I hope that we can do as many as we can. What I'd really love to have come into play here is for us to actually experience and practice some of the energetic.
You got me excited.
I know. Energetic. What did you call it? Energetic medicine.
We'll just call it medical Qigong. Chinese energetic medicine.
I know. I'm getting confused. Sorry.
We'll just call it medical Qigong for in here.
Okay. Sorry.
That'll make it easier.
For me, it will. But we want you guys to be able to experience some of that and get a taste of that today. So if you can kind of look over some of the comments here and maybe choose one or two moves that would help kind of a general, rule with chronic conditions. So there's sleep apnea is coming up, asthma, people that have been experiencing some winter stuff, which that's probably going to really we live in Utah. We don't have great air quality. This inversion is nuts. I know people who literally just can't go outside because they can't breathe. So that one, maybe if you have one or two things you could teach us for that one.
I see a couple of things up there, and the lungs kind of covers both of those. I see one about chronic lung conditions that was up top. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it said. It was a natural way to help clear the lungs from asthma. Well, we can talk about that for a couple of things because it's not just asthma. Asthma a lot of times is many times when I've been testing it and doing that, because I also do applied kinesiology when I'm testing, so their body can communicate. And I'm not just using my ego to go figure everything out. But a lot of times what happens is disease gets stuck in that tissue. So when you're trying to go through that tissue and heal it, there's certain colors and things that specifically for each tissue that help it.
That's perfect.
And so you want to get that out. Well, the other thing, the reason I like lungs is, where does the COVID and the flu and all those, where do you get a big problem? You get it in your respiratory.
Yeah.
Right. So nutritionally, I'll mention that trying to really increase your vitamin C intake. And I don't mean ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is not vitamin C. You can read that in the Nobel Prize one for vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is just the
and for for a layman, like, explain that a little bit.
So
they're like, what does that
you're
mean?
going to go to the grocery store or to a health store, and it's going to say vitamin C, and then you turn around and read the label and say vitamin C as ascorbic acid. Well, that's actually made from corn husks, and I can't remember which sodium compound. They mix it in there, and it makes ascorbic acid. And it actually doesn't have any of the flavanol group that makes up vitamin C.
Okay, so how would you suggest that they get vitamin C then?
So vitamin C, rose hips is really high.
That's what I use.
Okay.
Rose hips tincture. If anybody wants a link, send me a message.
Rose hips are fantastic. And you can get them in almost any of the things, whether it's tincture or actually making a tea, because that will extract it. We call it a decoction, and heating it up 3 times will get the fullness of it out.
Yeah, I think that's what we have Roxy doing, actually.
Yeah, we do. And that improves that'll even help with some of the thyroid conditions. So it doesn't just help. It doesn't just help the asthma and that, or else other viral diseases. It also will help the thyroid, because the thyroid, when they talk about your T3 and T4, well, that's made from vitamin C.
I didn't know that.
And those glands, when they first were extracting it, your adrenals and your thyroid were where they were first extracting vitamin C from animals. Before they didn't understand it from the plants all the way when they were first finding vitamin C. But vitamin C is a group of flavanols, and they help with almost every function of the body when you talk about your immune function, but they also help with oxygen. They help with all sorts of things. But here's a little known one, is raw red potatoes, uncooked raw red potatoes. Those are very high with vitamin C, but the minute you start cooking it, you start killing that. And most times you bake a potato at what temperature?
350 or whatever.
350 or higher, right? Yeah. Or 400. Some people 425.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go faster. Well, you kill all the enzyme factors. So you kill all the things that make the vitamin C viable. At 180, the enzyme to use vitamin C begins to die. Well, 180 to 200 degrees. When you get up to 300, then most of the entire flavanols are dead. So you can't really get as much. So that's why tea still works, is because when you put it in there, it's extracting. It's an extraction process, but boiling is only at 185. So you still have most of your enzyme factors for using it. But you can take rose hips and blend them up.
So really, if I'm like making tea, I should like let it cool a little bit and then put the tea in?
No, actually, because boiling only gets up, well, depending on your altitude, about 185. Okay. 185 to 190. Some a little different depending on where they're at. And so it's okay to boil, but you want to boil and then turn it off and then put the rose hips in.
Okay.
And if you have them kind of like powdered and in a tea bag, but you can drink them. There's nothing wrong with them. Some people put them on salads and all this other stuff. Yeah. So, but on potatoes, people go, "What? A raw red potato? I thought potatoes were evil. They're nightshades. They're this or that." You know. Well, if you have a good red potato that has no green on it, that's when it's toxic. Okay. If you have that, and if you're allergic to them, that's something else. That's entirely. Right. But the vitamin C quality, if you have the skin on it, it has vitamin A, vitamin C, and then part of the C complex called rutin.
Okay, how do you actually eat a raw red potato?
You know what? I'll give you a little recipe right now. How about a recipe? I love cooking.
Write this down.
I love cooking, and so I've come up with a lot of ways. I'll give you an easy way first, and then I'll give you what I do for my kids, and they down it like crazy. If you don't mind a little bit of cheese, they prefer it with a good Parmesan, like shredded. Don't get the powdered. That's junk. Okay, get the nice shredded. Throw that away. It's in my fridge. Yeah, it's just it has chemicals in it to get it in that state, so it's not.
He knows all this stuff.
So when you take you can shred the Parmesan or have it pre-shredded. That's okay too. But
just not the powdery kind in the big green.
Shoot, I'm giving the other recipe first. Here, first, you could just even shred the red potatoes and put them on a salad and rinse them, and it's pretty tasty. A lot of people really like that. Some people, they go, well, I didn't know it was going to be that good. But you want to rinse them so they don't turn color. So you're rinsing off the starch off the outside. But here's what I do for my kids. So I cut them into little cubes, so I cube them into small cubes.
I'm going to sneeze.
Good.
Keep going.
Let it go. Okay. And so you cut them into these little cubes. And and then it's because I love to sneeze, actually. I really, sneezing to me is such a beautiful thing. But with these little cubes, then what you have is you take them and you rinse them off. Again, you always rinse them off so you don't have them look not good. And then you're going to put some oil on them. Okay, so you kind of you want them a little dry, so really try to make sure the water's off, because then the oil stays on there a little better. And then you get, I like Montreal seasoning, and I like oregano, and you get fresh rosemary, and chop it up small. Okay, and then, well, you want to put the cheese on either a Romano or a shredded Romano or a Parmesan, and mix it up. So it's basically you're making a Tuscan potato. Sometimes I'll put some onions in with them a little bit, just because I like the flavor. It's all about the flavor.
I'm gonna have to type this up and then post it.
We'll do it. We'll do that.
That'll be good.
That'll be a good idea. But then you can just mix them up and start eating them. You can salt to flavor, but if you're salting, you should only use a dirty salt, is what I call it, like pink salt, real salt. Actually, the one here from Utah has 2 minerals higher than Himalayan salt, but people don't.
Yeah, Redmond salt.
Yeah. Redmond salt's great.
We're a partner with them. If you want a discount, go on our website, energyhealingconference.com, and click on partners, and you'll see you get a 15% off free shipping link from them.
Well, and you have a benefit because it comes from this continent. And if you're here, if you're in England, the other one that's good for that whole area is some of those Scandinavian salts. They're like gray salts or that. Celtic salts. Those are very good for your area over there and can help with a lot of the
actually taste really good
things.
too.
Oh, they're still good here too. Yeah. It's not that those other salts aren't good here, but you want to ground to where you're at. Yeah. And so it's going to help you ground and come and be able to be there. So trying to use local things is always better. They say to use it within, well, some say 70 miles, some say 100 miles, but that gets crazy with today, and you almost can't find them local anymore. So just at least get it somewhere within your continent on some of that. But those potatoes, my kids will come to them, and I had them try them once. And now if I leave the bowl, I don't have any to cook up my Tuscan potatoes. Okay. And when you cook them, if you cook them really fast, like in a broil, if you're going to cook them, and you just brown them lightly and they'll still be a little crunchy, you haven't got the heat so sunk into it that that they're going to lose all the nutrients to it. The outside won't be, but some people just like it a little warm. So you're just warming it up. Now, technically, you could put it in at like 200 degrees and cook it for a very long period of time, but most of us don't have time like that. Well, you would, right, Tammy? Just kidding.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, you have so much time on your hands. So it works really good. My kids love it, and I started trying them, and I'm like, that is good. That's really good. So,
delish.
So those are some ways to get the vitamin C. Those are very beneficial. Now you have another thing. A potato is what color inside? Most potatoes, not all these crazy turn one.
Like a white?
Most of them are white. And white treats the metal element, which is the lungs and large intestines. So sometimes people think that their lung problems are coming from their lungs, but a lot of times it's also coming from their large intestines. So you got to work on that gut flora and really work on the large intestines being healthy and moving properly. Okay, it's extremely important.
That's good to know that.
So
this is awesome. Are you guys getting all this?
Redmond Clay is actually very good for helping the gut and for diminishing a lot off. Redmond Clay is great.
We've had Neil and Daryl come on our page. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, all you have to do is click on the videos tab of our Facebook page, Energy Healing Conference, and then go back through our past videos, and they've been speakers, and they are super freaking smart. And all you have to do is go back and you can learn about them. And this discount code that they've given to our viewers here still is applicable today. So yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic. I'm
so,
gonna have to get on there and get some of that discount.
It is a really good discount, actually. I feel like they are really like treating us super well.
Really
so
good.
yeah, Ruby, there's the link for you so that you can see that. And if you can't see it where you are online, it might be because you're on my personal page, and all you have to do is click over to facebook.com/energy healing conference, and then you'll be able to see that. So are you ready to do some lung stuff?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and step back and let you kind of take over.
There's a couple lung techniques, okay, that you can do. And you can do it from sitting or standing. Right now, it looks better for me to do it from here, right? So your lungs up here, lung 1 point, if you come fill on your clavicle, the bone right here, okay? And it kind of curves up a little bit, and then you come straight down from that. And it's right below that, right about here, okay? And it'll be painful. So when you find it, it's like nice and tender in that spot. As I choke.
Take my stuff
pushing on that. Yeah, so, yeah. We got some stuff to work on. Anyway.
Sorry about that.
No, that's great. And I should pay more attention. That's my fault, not yours. We're having a session later.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so on this point, if you just kind of trouble that a little bit first. Now, here's one thing. We call it lung traumatology. So let's say that you're having an asthma attack. Well, the first thing that a lot of people are taught is to slow down your breathing. You want to breathe fast. Well, that's the brain, and it's kind of going, and so it starts restricting the muscles here. So just trying to slow down your breathing is one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is to clear out the lungs. This one is for traumatology. So this is like you're in an immediate state and need to open it up. Well, this does it. So you make a little cup with your hand and touch the thumb to the first crease of the, well, I guess that's 1, 2, second crease of the finger. Okay, you come in here, and you're going to focus on a white light, vibrant white. So divine white has a different energy than vibrant white, but vibrant white is for the lungs. So you just focus on this very vibrant white. Have you ever seen the clouds from the, like, they're just like shiny white light? It's like that, okay? And you come in there, and with that cup, you come over that point, and then you're going to do this. Okay, about 9 to 12 times. Yeah, right?
I put some perfume on the other day. I started like literally coughing like that.
The rest of it's going to come out now.
Yeah, like, oh.
So if you make sure that white ball is there as you do it, and then do the other side. Okay, then that helps open the lungs. Now you can do this on someone, because sometimes when they're in that, they can't really do it. So you can come up to them, put one hand on their back, the other hand here on the front, and then do that. And it's a lot. It's not like this. It's not this. It's okay. It's really getting that energy in, and you're picturing that ball of light going into the lung, going poof, poof, poof each time. Okay, and that helps open up. That also helps people come out of shock. Okay, wow. It can help with shock. It can help with a lot of different other conditions. Okay, another thing. So you can simply do a breathing meditation. We just taught one part of this morning for a different organ, but for the lungs, what you can do is come up and you focus and breathe in white. Picture this beautiful, vibrant white coming in through your nose and filling the lungs. And from the earth, you feel a bright white light come up, and it all comes up, and you're going to focus on it filling the lungs. Okay? And as it fills the lungs, then with that, and if you take about 6 seconds on the breath in, that's preferable. If you can't take that because of your lung problem, just try 3 seconds. Try to get it, and you're going to try to make it longer and longer. Eventually, there's a training called Wen Huo breathing, and with that, you're trying to get to breathe in 30 seconds and breathe out 30 seconds. With this, we're just focusing on 6 seconds. So don't feel like that's a long time. Anyway, so as you breathe in that vibrant energy and that white, okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to picture that filling the lungs, filling the large intestines, and coming out and actually affecting all the epithelial tissue, because that's skin, okay? And it's the lining of everything everywhere. It's the lining of your lungs. It's the lining, well, women who have the uterine problem, what's it called? Starts with an M. Can't think of it. or the endometriosis, okay? When they have the condition of the endometrium lining, that is an epithelial tissue. So this also can help even with that, but you focus on it filling all the epithelial tissue that lines everything. Even your blood vessels have epithelial tissue. So how much of the body do you want to fill with this vibrant white light? All of it, okay? Because it'll come and help all of that throughout the body. So you breathe that in, and then as you breathe out, to get rid of things, vibration and sound is what does that. And there's a specific sound for that. So with asthma, it'd be shang, S-H-A-N-G, and the ah sound of A, not the A sound, not shang, but shang, okay? So you breathe in and you hold it. Now you're ready to get rid of that sound. Shang. Okay, and you do it through your breath. I kind of made that one shorter. You can go longer, you go longer. Okay, because if you're trying to get rid of something, you want longer sound. If you're trying to build it up because it feels weak and you just don't have enough energy to take a breath.
Okay, now hold on just 1 second. I'm going to pause you again here for just a second. Those of you who are watching right now, and you tried doing the cupping thing up here, I want to hear some feedback from you guys. What are you feeling? Are you trying it on yourself? Are you experiencing something? Are you guys still there? I'm just like double checking here. It says we have about 30 people online right now, and no one has commented in the last, 8 minutes. So I'm just checking in with you guys. Number one, to make sure this is still working. Number two, I want to see what you guys are experiencing from yourself. That sound that just came out of him, did you guys actually hear that? Could you feel that? Because I did, but I'm just right here. I wanted to see if you guys could experience that as well. Couple of questions for you about the cupping and you're not just tapping, you're
I'm coming in, making it.
What would be the word to describe that?
It's it should sound like if you were to hit your leg with that and it makes a louder sound. Now have your hand flat and do it.
Yeah, that's totally different.
So when you do it on your leg with that cup and it makes that, it's that, and you want about that amount. So if you can see how hard I'm doing it, okay, I'm not going whack whack. Okay, it's not that hard, but it is firm enough to really force that energy.
Firm is the word.
Yeah, firm.
That's
okay,
awesome.
It's firm. It's not this, and the fingers aren't like this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that won't help a little bit,
right?
But it doesn't get it in what you want. So it's a little Marshall is what we call it. It's a little.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a little
that's
Marshall. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
And it should make you cough. I saw someone there say that it made him cough.
Yeah, it makes me cough.
Okay, because that means you have some stuff to clear out. That means you have a little bit that needs to move out, and so that's okay. And I'd probably do this some to really break that up, because if you have things stuck in there, it will help move it. And the lung, with the Chinese medicine, it's not just the lungs; it's also the trachea. It's clear up through the sinuses and out the nose. All of that is the metal element in the lung.
Awesome.
So it should help with all that, and that's why that sound, the sound shang. If you're coughing when you're doing the shang sound, that means you're doing a really good job.
So they should actually keep doing that, right?
Yeah, they should keep doing that.
Okay.
There has been some studies saying that if you do more than 36 at a time, that it kind of gets to its peak at about there. But so something really important too. So the sound purges when you're doing that. It's shaking up, but vibrant light is filling the space. So don't focus on what's coming out, because you could have emotions come up. You could have grief, sorrow, shame, and regret. Any of those coming out, and you could start experiencing
shame is also stored in the lungs?
Yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought I knew grief. I knew that one very well, because obviously that's your heart chakra area, all of that.
Yeah.
But shame, what else did you say? Sorrow?
Shame, sorrow, regret.
Oh, regret.
And grief. Grief is the main one people know about. But on the other hand, what we want to replace that with is courage, integrity, and righteousness. Those, and the term righteousness, that sometimes people don't understand. It just means things that are right, instead of.
You're not talking right. like a religious dog.
No,
blah,
no.
Blah, blah. You're not talking like that.
No.
You just mean okay.
That things that bring light, things that bring more light.
Okay.
That's actually righteous is the condition of being right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not like what we were talking about.
Yeah, so it's that holding that, and as you grow that energy, if you focus on that in your hand first. So let's try that just again real quick with putting it in. So in your hand first, here, rub your hands together. We'll do a little bit of energetic sensitivity here. Okay.
Alyssa says, I'm at work. Is this recorded? I've got a few people ask, is this recorded? My husband needs this. Yes, they're all recorded. And what you're going to do is go to our Facebook channel, click on videos, and they're all found there. So you just have to look up today, Dr. David Hone. Remember that. And you guys, I've given you his email too, so that you can reach out to him. And I highly recommend it because he's doing a free 1-day training. Are you doing that in December?
Yes, I want to do it this month before the new year.
This is so good. This is so good.
And we'll have that time here sometime soon.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you again. Go ahead.
No, this is great. This is great.
Yes.
I'm loving being here. Thank you for having me here.
Definitely.
Okay, so rub your hands together. And while you're rubbing your hands together, I want you to focus on amount of vibrant white light coming to your hands. Okay, just focus on energy or chi flowing to your hands. You don't even need to know what that is yet, if some of you don't. Okay, but as you do that, then start pulling them apart a little bit and start feeling like it builds a ball between your hands. Okay, so as that comes there, now just feel that pressure in between your hands. There should be a light energetic push between your hands. Okay, and that's the magnetic connection between some of you who, if you can see, you should try to visualize the light forming between your hands. Okay, and it needs to be vibrant white, so you focus on what it is. Now put your mind to a metal element. You don't even need to know what that is all the way. You just go towards the metal element.
That totally shifts the way that vibration feels.
It does, doesn't
just
it?
by saying metal.
Isn't that crazy?
It's cool.
Your mind leads the chi. Your mind leads the chi, and the chi leads the physical change. Okay, so now I want you to put it to vibrant white light here. Okay, and then I want you to focus on what binds that together. What binds that together is the chi, which is the energy and emotion. So you have the other elements. So now you add the element of emotion, which is courage and integrity and righteousness. Now feel how that ball changes if you're sensitive.
Oh my word, that is so big.
It changes quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I was thinking about getting a lion tattoo just because of all of those words that you just said, but I'm like, like see my lion over there?
Oh yeah, I love that line. I've been looking at it since I got here.
That's my life path piece in my house.
That is awesome.
Isn't that cool? That's what that.
And you are a lion.
I'm a Leo too.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
All the things.
So now I want you to split it into 2 balls. Okay, split it in 2 balls. Now on this one, take and condense that to where you can hold it like your hands cupped, like you're holding some water. Okay, and so just set the other one down over here for a minute. Now take that, and you're going to picture that it's going to come in here. So first, just take it up here a little bit and feel that. So you're practicing a little bit. And as I come, I take that, and it's like I'm
massaging it in.
I'm bellowing, like.
Oh, that's way different.
And push it in and out a little bit and feel that. Okay. Now have that go into that lung as you breathe in deep.
Holy.
Okay. Then what I'm going to have you do is make the cup again. Now you're going to take, and it's like you're still connected to that. You're going to come, breathe in. Okay.
Wow.
Now that'll even affect the lung more. So now that you did that, now just kind of rub it, give it some love. Okay. And put that hand down on your lap. Now take the other ball. Do the same thing, condense it down there. Make it even brighter. Some of you could use more brightness in your ball of chi. Okay. So as that increases in brightness, now take and then come over and again gently put it in. Feel it go down and fill the whole lung. Expand out. And again, bellows palm kind of in and out. Feel that going in and out and around and working up. Okay. Now make the cup.
Oh. You just have your legs crossed.
You were doing okay, so I didn't say anything. So now come out. You're still connected to it. Come out and then breathe in and then. Okay.
Wow.
And then just kind of shake it up. Okay. So that will start breaking loose a lot of the junk in the lungs, but you should also feel it kind of coming up here a little bit as you do that. So if it's not, then you need a lot more tonification of the lung to bring it up there.
What if you start feeling dizzy?
That's because you are definitely releasing something. You should So now since you feel dizzy, now let's do this. With that, you probably brought a lot of chi up to the area. So now with that, try this. Breathe in really deep, but focus down below the belly button at the lower dantian. So it's, if you go halfway between the perineum and the belly button, inside the middle of you. So women, it's easy. It's your uterus. For men, it's just the center of that area. We don't have a natural cauldron. We have to make one. Okay. So put your left hand over your right hand. And actually, before we do anything, Here, take your hands and
Wait,
notice
what did you just say? A natural cauldron?
a natural cauldron for like mixing your own thing. Yeah, like a
Lori
brew.
K, did you hear that? Lori K Banks, my friend, sorry.
Okay, so down here, because you can easier create life. Women have that natural ability for life, even though it takes two to tango. Men have to work harder at it. Okay, so and that makes it even for other things. So when you're down here, okay, come here first, and then focus on that down here, and bringing any excess energy down here. But now here's what we're gonna do. It's something called pulling down the heavens. Right. So now I want you to take your hands and out. Notice I'm at a 45. I'm not to the side of my body. I'm out a little bit like this, about a 45-degree angle from the body. And I want you to picture Earth coming up to your hands. And you reaching down into the earth, and you sink down into the earth. And as you sink down in the earth, then the energy comes up. And it comes up to about your shoulders, and then your palms turn up. And then heavens comes down. So the divine white light comes down and mixes with earth, and you gather that. So notice my elbows don't go up a lot, my arms go up. And now, with all that collected, now you're going to take it down the front of you and breathe out. Just wash it down all the front of you. Okay.
I'm not dizzy anymore.
Yeah, already, right? We haven't even done anything. Now the second one, now you gather again, earth, breathing in, gather heavens, breathing in, and now have it go down the back. H-A. All the way down to the ground. Now one more, breathe in. Now come right through the middle. Right out the feet, into the ground, into the earth.
Oh wait, now I'm dizzy again.
Okay, that's because you're draining. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to come down here again to your lower dantian. Now just focus on earth coming up through your feet, a golden energy come up through your feet, it comes up the back and gently like cascades down and just comes and starts filling the lower dantian. Good. And now feel like a pillar of light comes right through the top of the head and comes right through the center of the body and starts mixing with that earth energy. And then just let that mix and bring your mind and everything down to your lower dantian. Let it fill the lower dantian. And then just take and seal it in. So you make I do a little hand seal like this, and just like I'm tying a knot and sealing it down my lower dantian so it doesn't go chaotic again. Okay, and then I come back and I seal again, and then I seal again. Okay.
You do that 3 times?
Yep. Because it stands for our 3 parts of who we are: our Jing, our Qi, and our Shen. So Jing is that physical energy, physical body. It gets more complicated, but let's keep it simple. Qi is our energetic and emotional body, all encapsulated in one. And then the Shen is our spiritual and mental body. We got to bring all those. And the Shen is what has the template for here. So really what we're doing with most of these chronic conditions is we're improving the vibrancy of each individual tissue and organ. And by doing that, once the spirit has its vibrancy, then the Qi actually gets stronger. The Qi is what links. If we have spirit and we have our physical body, what holds them together is Qi. It's energy, okay? And so once that holds it together, then they can work. But if the Qi or the emotions are kind of like off a little bit, then we get these distortions instead of this nice pattern of them coming and being able to work together perfectly.
Wow, this is so freaking cool.
So
is anybody else geeking out on this right now? Is that okay if I say it?
Yeah,
that's respectful.
I like geeking out. I geek out all the time.
Yeah, I literally am like, wow, this is so cool. Who else felt that? I just want to tune in with you guys here for a second and see what you guys are experiencing on your end, and what that feels like to you. And what was your favorite part? Like, what stood out to you the most, or what do you have questions about? Because we have, like, it's kind of a rarity that we get to have you like this. Like, I feel like you guys, like, let's make sure you ask questions and all of the good stuff. This is just amazing.
Well, we had quite a few. I've seen through here. Anyway, that's a little you can do for your lungs. Actually, cupping for sinus congestion can be helpful. You just want to make sure you have someone who knows where to cup. So there's a little more science. You could cup over these points and actually do some drawing, but a lot of times you need a little bit of heat going in too. So you need to have energy flowing in as well as coming out. Cupping helps break up stagnation. And there's actually energetic things you can do with the cupping that can draw it in deeper and even do more. And that was taught in China commonly. So yeah, that can also help with the lungs.
That's awesome.
Nutritionally, vitamin A, vitamin C, and rutin, vitamin P. Buckwheat is high in that. And buckwheat doesn't have the gluten like other things.
I know. I love buckwheat pancakes. Have you ever had?
I haven't.
Scratch. Oh, my husband makes the
One
best
of these
buckwheat
days,
pancakes.
you're gonna have to show me buckwheat pancakes.
Well, next time you come,
I didn't give you a lot of notice, even though I was in the neighborhood. But
they're so good.
Buckwheat will have it. Almost has all the rutin you need. And then you have like the rose hips or those things. Oh, there's one more good form of vitamin C. If you have a birch tree or one of those, like a paper birch, or actually most birch trees, or a maple tree, you can tap it and take the liquid and drink it. And that can actually, that does a lot. It does a lot. That's almost the highest vitamin C you can get.
Wow.
So, but vitamin A, vitamin C, and rutin. Vitamin A, your carrots. So a lot of people have gotten into juicing, but then they get rid of all the other parts. So they're taking all the fiber off. It'd be better to make like a smoothie with the carrots, and with a Vitamix or Blendtec or those that can really puree it.
I actually take the buckwheat raw and put it right into the Blendtec, and it makes it a flour, and then you just use that.
Yeah, we do the same thing with our Vitamix, but I've heard Blendtec has got pretty powerful system too.
Yeah, I've been through a couple of them, but they do have a great warranty, so that's good.
That's really good. A lot of those companies do. So if you have something like that, you can really utilize it more. But carrots are really good. And there's been a lot of negative things about vitamin A that just aren't as legitimate as they should be. It all came from way back when they started condensing and getting vitamin A stronger and stronger and stronger. Then they started saying, well, if you're pregnant, you shouldn't be on vitamin A because it'll cause cleft lips and all these other things. Well, they were giving them like 15,000 units of vitamin A. Okay. And not only that, but even condensed down, easily absorbable. That was the problem. It wasn't the food-based vitamin A. You'll never get that from food-based vitamin A.
That's so good to know that.
Okay. So on all your nutritionals, try not to find the chemical versions. Try to find the vibrant and plant-based because it has more spirit with it.
Can I ask you another question on that?
Sure.
Just because I feel like maybe this will help clarify for some people who aren't already doing this kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. If they were to get the option for organic versus non-organic,
yes.
Like what's the difference in your opinion for that? Like, does it really make that big of a difference? And I'm asking for the people who are watching right now.
Most times. It's because of the chemicals they put on to preserve them after, and when they're organic, they can't do that. So organic are a little more expensive because of the shorter lifespan on shelf. Mm-hmm. And so, but if they put the right nutrients in the soil, they wouldn't have that problem. So if you have your own garden, that's number one. If you can have your own garden and do things, but a lot of people can't with where they live. And with that, what you do is you make sure that the soil has the nutrients needed to come up into the plant. And there's my uncle, who's the one I studied the naturopathic under, wants to do a whole class on just how to make from soil to superfood.
That's awesome.
And sometime we'll have to get him.
Yeah, I was like, let's get Uncle Eugene.
He's a little camera shy, but
that's okay. But, he's over you. I got you on.
Yeah. So then the other part of that is organic. They're more sensitive because they want the organic things to last, of putting the proper calcium and things in the soil to help it. So
that's good.
So organic is definitely better. If you don't have that ability to get a lot of organic, does that mean you're toast? No. Pray for it. As crazy as that sounds, in the studies done, one of the studies done by Dr. Emoto,
Master Emoto.
Yeah, he found he had this village, and this isn't a well-published one, which is kind of sad. He had this village. He said, "I don't care what religion you are, we're going to pray for this reservoir."
It didn't even matter what religion they were from.
No,
I think that's so pertinent.
It did not matter. He said, it doesn't matter. We're all going to, so if you're Buddhist, pray to Buddha. If you're Christian, pray to Christ. If you're Taoist, if you're atheist, just ask for it. Just say, talk to the water and tell how grateful you are and thankful you are. Because gratitude can also change it. Gratitude can change the vibration of your food. And so all of them did it. And the sample before showed that it was like almost acid rain quality. I mean, it was terrible. And the one after showed it as pure as Fiji water spring.
And I think the interesting thing about that particular study was that, what was I going to say? As soon as I started talking. Well, you can see the actual geometrical structure of the water when they were doing the studies on this. And likewise, like if you're eating food, it tastes good to you and you want to eat it, but you're thinking, oh, this is really bad for me as you shove it in your face. Yeah. What is that doing to your food that you're consuming, right?
Right, exactly.
So taking a moment of gratitude for that candy bar. No, I'm just kidding. But like really.
No, actually there is sense to that. But should you do that all the time to do that? No, because you're using a lot of your energy, and words and your energy has so much of it to give. And so if you're eating more vibrant foods in the first place, you won't have a problem. And you can actually clean the toxins out easier. So the real thing is try to find the things with the least amount of toxins so that you can be good. But look, well, we talked about sugar, right? And the fact that you have the really chemical-based sugar that's a heavy process that we call common table sugar now. And that's what the lab sent it back as, common table sugar, and then formaldehyde and all these other chemicals. And then finally, there was a little bit of beet sugar and cane sugar in it. And I lost my desire for it at that point. I still eat it from time to time, but so instead of having that, if you have like pure cane sugar, organic raw cane sugar, that one's going to be more vibrant, have more vibrant energy. So you got to think about it. If you put something dark in the body, it's going to darken the body. If you put something light in the body, it's going to make the body more vibrant. So it's all about the amount of vibrancy of your food. So if you're walking through the grocery store, and you can do this, especially if you're already sensitive or you want to train your sensitivity, go as you're walking through like the vegetable section or things and just feel the energy, and then go to the canned section. And then feel that with your hand. Take your hand and scan that. And feel the difference of the foods. Feel the difference of organic, feel the difference of other. And not all canned foods are terrible, but they're generally not as good. Okay, they're doing some that are better. But when you have plastics and things, with time, it slowly leaches the chemicals from that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, a lot of people are commenting, geeking out. I love that, Helen. That's awesome. And aren't you so glad that he's here? This is the guy who was telling me about in our appointment the other day.
Oh, geez.
Christine says, yes, loving this. Awesome, tingling. Christine says she's at work too, so she'll be able to check back later as well.
Yeah.
Back problem came up. Is that with the particular lung thing that we were just doing? Or is that separate? Is that what you're talking about? Jody says, I feel like my lungs are open and more grounded.
Yes, they should. They should feel that way. Yes.
It's good.
Now, the back problem, if it's work-related or that, there's a couple things you want to do. You want to be a little careful. It is good to seek out, like.
She says she's always had back problems. Okay. So it's not something she just.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, no, that's not good. But I mean, that's better. So there's a thing called opening the spine. This one, I do tell people. There's variations of it depending on how bad your back is. And if I knew a little bit more about that, we could really give it. But we have something that some people call it private chiropractic, because it's personal chiropractic. You're basically helping bend the spine down. Have you ever seen a potato bug with how it rolls down? Some people call them roly-polies. Mm-hmm. They bend down to that little ball and then they open back up like this. They kind of, you're doing that to the spine. So I'll just show it real quick. You might not be able to see it all the way here, but you're standing like this and you reach down, kind of like pulling down the head as we did, come up to the top of the head. Okay. And as you come down with the neck, you're moving the neck first. It comes down like this. You're going all the way down the spine. And then It's like you grab a rod from Earth and pull it up, and I'm moving each vertebra up like that, stacking the spine. So some call it stacking the spine, some people call it opening the spine, some people call it stretching the spine, okay? So you curl it down, and then you stack it back up. Now that pulling back up puts some resistance and starts training all that to do that. Now, a lot of back pain comes because you don't have adequate fluid between. This is why I say you got to be careful. If you have a herniated disc or something like that, you do not push it hard. You're not going for pain in it. You're just going to feel that opening because you're trying to open up each vertebra so that light pops out. So you're visualizing light popping out through that. I've had some people with severe scoliosis. A lot of times back pain, long-term back pain has some of that within it. And I think in your case, you might have some of that. But also it's all the tendons and ligaments, and those get really tight and stuck. So this helps open it up. Also for you, I would suggest, this is mostly for you, but it could work for everybody a little bit, some things to help your liver and your tendons and ligaments, and getting some toxins out of your liver, because I think it might really clear back, I don't know, something like injections or chemical in there. So you can get homeopathics or stuff like that, and that'll really help you with having that heal. But doing some exercise, so there's a variation. Let me show the variation of that. The other variation of that is if you are more hurt, you go like you're grabbing a big ball and you wrap your body around the ball. So I'm still opening as much as I can, and then gently rolling it back and then coming again. And you do that about 9 times at a time. And you use thought and intention to really push and like you're trying to curl down. And that one is a little more gentle if you really have problems that you have to be careful of in your spine. Okay.
That's good to know.
But you really should probably get an appointment with someone. There's good chiropractors, and then there's less good chiropractors.
Just like with everything. Right?
Just like with everything. So if you have a chiropractor that's a little gentle, and if you've been seeing one and it's not helping, the energetic side of it, doing some of this would be good and can help you avoid some surgeries as time goes.
Helen, where do you live again? Because I have a chiropractor that he actually lives in West Jordan, but he travels around. And so he comes up, he actually has a mobile chiropractor
Oh, that
table.
is so cool.
And so my husband will meet him sometimes like at a gas station parking lot or something. And
that is so cool.
They'll pull it out. And you live in West Point. I can almost guarantee you that you could probably connect with him when he's coming up this way. I'll give you his number. His name's Kelby. Crap, I can't remember his last name. But he's really good, and he uses an activator. Have you ever
good.
seen this?
Yeah, I have one in the car right now. I use
You do,
that too,
really?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't do chiropractic, but I do manipulation. I like to call it structural energetic alignment.
Awesome.
So it's still manipulating through the muscles and some of that gently to have it work. But
his name's Kelby Martin. His phone number is 801-413-6956. So here, I'll put it in the comments. But you can keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, that's great. So I would really also have them work as you do this, as you do that exercise. And remember, you're picturing light going down through and opening up each vertebra and then stacking each vertebra back as much as you can. And it won't be easy at first. You'll feel certain areas of your back lock up and want to move like this. And that just takes time. You're not going to move like I just moved in the beginning if you have back problems. It takes some work. Okay.
That's awesome. Okay, and somebody else was asking about neuropathy.
Neuropathy. Okay, hold it. That was a bigger one, and this other one might be easier at first. The one about rid of toxins.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this one nutritionally is easy. Anytime you meditate and you're picturing that light come in and move through that, you're going to be helping work that out. Sound, like I was saying with the lung, there's sounds for each type of thing. For a lot of toxins to help the liver move good, it's guo, G-U-O, and you focus on your liver. But some things to help with those toxins that you could do, there's some homeopathics. One of them helps with vaccines after. Again, that one's going to be a little bit easier. A lot of times you have to have a doctor now for homeopathics. They've been trying to regulate, which is stupid, trying to regulate homeopathics. But You can get homeopathic. The other thing you can do is cilantro gets rid of heavy metals, and some of yours has a heavy metal kind of feel to it. So if you go
Don't
heavy,
you have to eat like quite a bit of cilantro?
you have to get
though?
quite a bit. So I'm going to give the thing to back it up.
Okay.
I know
Just in case.
it's like a half cup of cilantro a day. I go, just make a lot of salsa. You might get sick of salsa, but then make something else.
There you go.
I love cilantro, but it's too much.
You could make tacos and just put a bunch of cilantro.
Yeah,
with
just
some
put a
onions
couple.
on.
Actually, if you have the leaves, the whole leaf with the stem, it's a little stronger anyway. So yeah, if you put some on it, you can make it taste good. But every day, it gets really boring. You know,
some people really don't like cilantro, but I really like cilantro.
I'm all about the wonder, amazement, and the fun. And after about day 10 of it, I'm like, I never want to see cilantro. Okay, so you can also do parotid, parotid PMG from Standard Process. Parotid PMG helps your parotid glands that are right here work better. But now, since this is an energy thing, I'm going to show you a way to get past some of that too. Cool. So if you make a chi ball again, okay, rub your hands together. For some of you who are already there, you don't have to rub your hands as much. But then take and make it into 2 balls. Okay, and you're going to tell it to enhance your parotid gland. Okay.
My salivary glands are like...
They should already be watering just by doing that. Okay, and then you're going to come up to them. You're just going to kind of rub in there. You're going to put that chi ball in there. And then you're going to kind of rub in here. It's right on the jawline, right in here. You'll feel a little bump by the masseter muscle, right behind the masseter muscle. And almost make you want to salivate more. Okay, you're going to rub that, and you can tap it some in here, up and down the jaw. You can rub it, but then really seal that chi in to have it start healing that, and then just relax it. Okay, so is cilantro essential oil can help some. Yes, that's it's not as good as the whole plant, and sometimes it can have an amount of toxicity. If you try to take it internally, so you can put it topically on, but yeah, it'll still have some of that effect. Some other things are the clays, the different clays, like the Redmond clay is actually really good.
I highly recommend that. Just don't put a lot of it down your bathtub. I learned.
Yeah, that would be way too fast. There's also activated charcoal does some other ones, but you should never over purge. Some people get into this purging kick and then they way overdo it. Like what you're talking about with the bathtub, right?
Yeah.
So there's this thing that you can overdo and overdo and overdo it. And you want to kind of control that. You want to just do as much as you need to. And anytime you detoxing, you must drink a lot of water. And I don't mean tap water. Okay. If you have your own well and it's a good well or spring, that's good. Not all bottled water is good. Most of your bottled water is not good.
He's a water snob like me.
Yeah. So
we've been talking about it.
Some of the ones that come in glass that they have, those are really good. Oh. Some of the ones
like
that come
which
in
ones
glass,
do you recommend?
Well, they're Italian. That's the problem.
Oh.
I haven't seen a lot of U.S. ones. I'll have to, but I test a lot of different ones. Fiji water, even though it comes in plastic, for some reason, is a better quality.
I think you'd really like the Icelandic water. Now I feel like you need to go.
I need to go try this now. I think I'm gonna have to find the Iceland.
It has an 8.0 pH too, but it is like delicious.
That's awesome.
And I am a water snob.
Well, and now they have this one essential or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember its name, but it's got the black batter on it.
Yeah. I can see it.
That one is actually not bad. That one's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some out there, but also if you alkaline water will help detox some. But if you overdo it, it's going to start pulling all your essential minerals out too. So you want to be careful on that. 7.4 to 8 is pretty safe. But if you get up into those 9s and you drink that long term, that's going to start you'll get an alkaline problem.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
I can't tell you. It used to be when in my early practice, even like in 2011, 2012, everybody was more acidic. And now I'm finding a ton of alkaline people that are over alkaline.
Wow.
And that can cause it to where you feel like you're going to vomit, or you lose your desire for food, or these other problems in your body. It can cause a problem for your gallbladder. It makes it to where you're not digested, so you might get acid reflux. And then you think you have too much acid, but the real problem is you have too little.
Wow.
So,
wow. This This is awesome. Do you happen to have a chart on your website anywhere that talks about any of the sounds that go with individual organs?
We do it in the training, we do, and
Okay.
I will in that 1-day class that I put together.
That'd be cool.
We'll go through the sound organs. That's probably one of the main things we're going to work, because it's a real simple thing to teach in 1 day.
Awesome.
Is we're going to talk about the colors for each organ and the sounds, and that will probably be what we cover. It's a piece that you go into more detail in the full trainings, and you're constantly going back to it. I mean, you could never get. That's the one thing I love about Qigong, is like how deep you want to go. It's up to you. You could go infinitely deep and through any layer you want to, and it's really fun. But
so I'm curious, how many of you that are on right now are practitioners that would like to add this to their practice? And I'm also curious, how many of you are like, I'm not a practitioner, but I want to learn this for my family? Because we're both really pretty passionate about helping people to be empowered so that they can do them stuff for themselves and for their loved ones, right?
Correct. That is probably the main reason I do it. I wish it could be in every home, because if people could do this for their own family and for their neighbors and that, then they don't have as many need on doctors. Right. And not only that, really, you can be healing yourself. And if you teach it then to your kids, you come and learn and you're able to teach it properly, because there is improper teaching too. Yeah. Sometimes you've seen that from what you talked to me about.
You can do more damage sometimes. Even I had a friend who, she has like a huge alphabet behind her name, and she was at a day training, and the person who was in charge actually had a whole bunch of people doing stuff to her for her energetically, but it was too much. It actually caused her to have a mild heart attack.
Yeah, actually, that is we see it all the time, and it's because people go, it's just energy. Their body will only take what it needs.
No, but you need to be trained.
You need to be trained.
You understand exactly what you're doing, because the truth is that it really is making a difference.
It is.
And so, should.
They've shown people get swollen livers, or like have lung failures or things. Here's one of the things they did in China. They did this thing to where this lady, her doctor was Professor Feng Lida. I can't remember which way it goes. Yeah. I'm terrible at names, by the way. Okay, so she had 3 petri dishes, and they took tumors, and they'd take the same tumor and cut it. And as they would do that, as they put the tumors in these petri dishes, they found out that they needed to they'd take Qigong doctors, and you can find this in Dr. Johnson's textbooks. They would take and they would have the Qigong doctor, one was to grow the tumor, one was to shrink the tumor, and one was to do nothing. And that's exactly what happened every time, whether they grew it, whether they shrank it, or whether they did it. And they reproduced that 100 times. And they found that the training was essential to make it happen properly.
Yeah, that's really, wow. So I really encourage you guys to continue learning about this. This 1-day training is completely free. It's all online. And have we shared how people can like actually get the information for that in a while? I think it's been a hot minute. So I'm going to go ahead and add that one more time to the bottom of our screen here so that you guys can see that. Go ahead and get this particular email written down. It's Dr. Hone, DRHONE at elementsoflifeinstitute.com. So go ahead and write that down. You guys literally want to get in on this. It's going to be so awesome. And thank you so much for doing that for all of my people too.
Thank you.
I just love you guys.
And I look forward to if I can help any of you in any way, shape, or form. So
yeah, that's awesome. You guys are amazing. So I'd love to also have you guys go ahead and write in any questions that you might have. We have about 13 minutes left in this presentation today, and I would absolutely love you guys to go ahead and just put down anything else that you'd love to follow up with. Do you guys like this today? Do you want to have him back? Would you come back maybe?
Oh, I would come back. Yeah. I love sharing, and really I just love for more people to be empowered, to have them helped more. So.
Yeah, look at all the people that are saying that they'd love to learn about this for their family. Helen, Christine, Sabrina, Sue says she wants to add it to her practice. Jamie says she'd love to learn it for her family and friends. Gina says, I want to learn. Hey, girl, how are you? Hi, Tina. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I'll see all my friends. Hey, guys. Jody says, I'm not a practitioner, but a nurse and would love to know more. Don't you guys have
Actually,
nurses and medical doctors
we
that are
do.
also trained in
We do.
this?
And
I want to add that.
in fact, I am constantly, the class I did this last August mostly had nurses and doctors and massage therapists and others. And because we're considered an institute, then a lot of the states will technically get you your CEUs for somebody. You got to ask your individual licensing board.
Yeah.
So any of the trainings that you do that are under the certification aspect also can count as your CEUs.
This is awesome stuff. I know that you guys are going to be so excited to know that, and this is just so fun. So we're going to go ahead. I've shared that email. I'll go ahead and put it in one more time. If you guys are happening to watch this on the replay and you don't see it in the comments, just message me and I'd be happy to give you his email, because this is going to be happening sometime this month before the end of the year. But he will have a recording for you available through the end of the year as well. So you guys can go ahead and reach out to him. Also, his website is ELI, which stands for
Elements of Life Institute.
So eligroups.com. So you guys can go ahead and check that out as well. And then Jamie has been super patiently waiting about brain fog. So can you give us maybe a technique or some ideas for that?
Brain fog, there's a few different things. Sometimes that's, a lot of times when you're talking brain fog, it comes into a couple different elements with also what used to be called at one time the Hofmeister mineral ratio. This was a ratio of the different nutrients in the brain that uses essential cell salts like calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and sodium and potassium. Okay, when these ratios are off, we can't think, focus, recognize, go into REM sleep, or remember as well. And a lot of times we just need to get those into state. But I go back again, you got to see what's going on deeper in the body. So you want to look and take it into, like, for instance, your kidneys. Your kidneys are responsible for the minerals and the things going on. So you go in there and you start tonifying the kidneys, and that can help. But a lot of times with brain fog, it's also amount of chi that can come and get stuck in the head. So a simple technique for that at times that can work is taking your hand, and this also works for hypertension. This works for hypertension and other things. And you can take your hand up like this, and you're coming and you're dragging, you're pulling down towards the heart. You're pulling down towards the heart and the lower dantians, which is, again, down below the belly button. And then you take the other one and you pull. And you're just picturing like that hand's going in the head and pulling a lot of that down. Just feel it lowering that down, okay? And this works for migraines very well as well, okay?
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about this again? You said hypertension?
Hypertension, yeah.
And what is that exactly?
So that's like high blood pressure.
Okay.
High blood pressure, tachycardia, this works for. Especially if you add to that and go, ah, ah. Okay, the ha sound opens the heart and the descending tone helps lower that energy.
And you go all the way down to like your belly button?
I go all the way down to the lower dantian. I just come all the way past because there's too much tension up there. It comes down and lowers. So, okay.
And so any colors that you want to add to that or anything?
The colors for that, actually this one you're just focusing on taking the stuck energy here and pulling it down. So you don't have to focus as much on color on this.
So somebody who has like racing thoughts going through their mind, or they're feeling like anxiety attacks or panic.
Pulling down heavens is probably even better for that.
Even better for that one.
Pulling down heavens is even better.
Okay. So hypertension, you're actually talking about specifically like blood pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just because like my sister just graduated from massage therapy school, and she's like, your neck muscles right through here are always so freaking tense, like more than she's ever seen. So she's had me start doing that for tension in my neck.
Oh, actually, that's great because this is called the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid. This muscle here.
Yeah.
And so when you think of you're pulling all that energy down, a lot of that stuck here, and this is tight. And when it's tight, it's stopping the blood flow and things from being able to come down.
Yeah.
So as you do this, you can pull that down. Now there is a supplement. So the chi latches onto the blood, but the way it does that is through minerals. And so there's some minerals that help balance that, and that's one is called Mintran, Mintran.
Oh, I think you told me about that one.
Yes. So the Mintran helps give something for it to latch onto, and then you can better direct it because now the chi is something that can contain it and hold it. So Mintran has, for those that may not have access to be able to get that supplement from Standard Process, it has kelp, alfalfa, and kale. Those are the three main things. But the biggest part is the kelp and alfalfa, because they contain a lot of what's needed for that.
Mm-hmm. This is awesome. Does anybody else have any issues with what are those things called? Their neck scales or something like that? I can't remember what she called it, but
I can't think of the term right off the top of my head.
You said Mintran?
Mineral transfer, or
Okay.
mineral tranquilizer is what it was actually, they got it from, because it calms the mind and it hyper-focuses the mind. So if you have someone who has ADD or ADHD, it really helps them hyper-focus their mind so that they don't wander so much in different directions.
So it actually would help with like focus then.
Absolutely. It actually does enhance that. But then there's other things that can go with that too. Like there's one called Cataplex G that helps with hyperfocus. But there's the Mintran is the first one you go to, because it balances, there's an intelligence in those plants that tells the body how to get there. The reason I like standard process, some people don't like standard process, but the reason I like standard process is because they're using whole food. And they're not only using whole food, but they extract it in a vacuum. So all the enzymes are active. Sometimes when you get like the rapid freeze drying and that stuff, you have a loss because of the temperature change. And they say, well, they're still active, but I have not felt the same vibrancy energetically from it.
Yeah.
But because they're extracting it in a vacuum, it really seems to make a difference. And I see it in my clients. So I've seen it. The first time I had Mintran shown to me, this might be an example. There's this kid, and he was like in second grade, and he was the worst one in his class, failing everything. And the mom brought him because he just couldn't calm down. He's trying, you know, the type of kids that are like all
that's
over
me.
the place, right?
That's my mom. That was me.
and he just gave him like 3 or 4 of those to chew up right there and drink water with him, because he's a young kid. He didn't want to take pills, so he chewed them up and swallowed them. And in 15 minutes, because what my uncle did first, he goes, "Watch this," and I looked and I went.
That's interesting.
He calmed down, sat down, and was asking questions. And my uncle followed up with me in a year, said, guess what? His mom kept him on that from just what we saw in the clinic. And he's the top of his class by the end of that school year.
Wow.
Because he could then focus. He could then do that. Not only that, he could sleep deeper. So if you have kids that wiggle around a lot in their sleep and are all over the bed, or if you do, you need Mintran, because it helps calm the body down to where now it can use the energy for what the energy is used for.
So would that also be helpful for somebody who's like drinking? Is that how you say that?
I like it. Drinking
distilled water for like a long time.
Yes.
Because there are some people who like they didn't realize that was happening to them, right? So they started drinking distilled water. But could that help rebalance that?
There's a time. There's a time for it. There's a time for everything. There's a time for the distilled water to help pull certain things out. But in general, if you drink distilled water, it is demineralizing you.
So hypothetically, if someone that I know were to drink distilled water for 12 years, would that help?
It will help start getting the balance back. So think of it like a bucket. My uncle did really good at teaching me. So let's say this cup, actually, since we have a cup right here, right? Let's say that it's supposed to be this full, but you're only this full because of that, right? Well then, and you were doing a lot of other things too.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Hypothetically. I'm not saying you.
No, I'm just saying
let's say a person.
It was me.
Okay? I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
So, but then if you fill that cup back up, it takes a while. But now let's say your calcium goes up here, but your magnesium's down here.
Yeah.
But now everybody tells people to do what? It's like a fad. Everybody take magnesium. Well, it's supposed to be 5 parts calcium to 1 part magnesium. So how much more calcium do you need than magnesium? So people will start getting cramps and things because they don't have this ratio right. And then they go, but the magnesium calms it down. Well, why? Because the magnesium is a calmer. It's a sedative thing. And you actually have some people who've been hospitalized from too much magnesium.
I've never even heard of that. Are you serious?
Yes, because they get so much that their body's just like, it can't hardly move. So they're really tired all the time. Right? But if they up their calcium to where they get that proper harmony, well, Mintran, particularly what's in the kelp and alfalfa, helps balance all that up.
Wow. That is
okay.
So people are saying, how do we get that pill from him? So they can just reach out to you. And
they can get it. They can get it. Some of them, it depends. I have to say, it's very hard outside the U.S. to get it.
Okay.
Because the company has had issues with shipping. We have been shipping some to Canada. And we did tell them, we told Standard Process, hey, we're going to be doing this because they need it. and they used to ship to Canada all the time, but
Yeah.
now they don't. So if you cannot get it, then you focus on the kelp, alfalfa, and kale. And you can get it and blend it up and put it in a pill.
Mhm.
And it might not be all the same as what they are giving, but it would still be very beneficial for you.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So
So Helen, I gave you his phone number or his website, Eli Groups, ELIgroups.com. You can totally reach out to him there too. They'll take care of you.
yeah, we like to help everybody we can as much as we can. So
Yeah. So we kind of need to start recapping and closing it down here. We're at 11:56 right now, 11:59. So why don't you go ahead and finish off what you wanted to bring to the conversation here today?
Well, something that let's see, things for a few people. So one thing that all of you could do, and that I hope you take, is that pulling down the heavens that we did in the chair. Number one, that could probably be one of the most useful tools, simple tools you have for just clearing things. And you can do pulling down heavens to purge. You can do it to store. You can bring it in to dissolve disease. It's where your mind goes, and to follow the intention and the imagination, intention, and affirmation. These three things in your energetic practice or your personal life are the most important things to help you. So if there was one thing you could have as a tool, use that in what you're doing. The other thing is remember the power of your mind. Funny thing is, by just even putting on a smile, by even just smiling a little bit, you change a lot of things. And so it changes the vibration in the body. It also opens up so more things can come into the body, and even inspiration can come easier. It allows divine light to enter into the body more. Okay. There's so much that you can do with nutrition, but that gets complicated. And don't just jump onto nutrition without checking to make sure that other things you're doing aren't okay to a degree. And sometimes some nutrition or some herbs negate other herbs. And so just kind of study. I'm really big proponent on you researching and you finding what you need. If you need help, there's a lot of people out there to help and who have a lot of knowledge. I come from a unique background, from the energetic to the spiritual, and then back down to the physical. And it's very important for me. It's very important for me in my life to try to help others be empowered so that you can then share it with other people. And so let's take that. Hopefully some of the nutritionals and some of these other things we did will help. And just start applying those in your life the best you can. And take time to go out and connect. Get outside. Get out of your house. Connect with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things I've seen with chronic illness has gotten worse over the last 2 years is because of lack of being able to connect with other people. You see Epstein-Barr on a rise like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, your vitamin C and some of these other things alone will help. But your vitamin D is really important. And vitamin D, you're going to get from sun and from good food and from things like that. So take time to find vibrancy in life, whether it's physical nutrients, physical exercise, putting your emotions in the right place, trading them out, trade the emotions for the opposite, the better emotion. Okay. Those type things. And then spiritually taking time to reflect and go inward and upward. Inward, upward, connect with earth and heavens and yourself. And that will help you in so many more ways.
That's amazing. That's a perfect way to finish off today. Those of you who didn't get your questions answered, I want to encourage you to reach out. There's an email that we have been giving throughout today. It is Dr. Hone at elementsoflifeinstitute.com. And his website is also on the screen, eligroups.com. So you can go to either one of those to get in contact with him. Again, this free one-day training that he's doing is going to be by the end of the year. You're thinking probably in the next week or two, right?
Yes.
So you want to get on that right away. And those of you who have loved ones that you know would be interested in this, please feel free to send them that information. That is not exclusive just for people who are on this live broadcast right now. So if you're on the replay, please feel free to do that. And then also send this on to other people that would really, want to do it. Any other comments that you want to add?
Any more that I want to add? Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Tammy's wonderful, as you all know, and I really appreciate this opportunity and this chance to share some of this, and hopefully it helps some of you.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. And one last thing, because I totally forgot to mention it earlier, is those of you who are practitioners or you are starting your own business, I am going to be doing that free 2-day business training, and that will be next week. And all you have to do for that is to click on the link here. And I will also post it up on our page so that you can see that as well. But this is, again, for people who want to be more efficient with their time. You want to learn how to become more automated with what it is that you're doing in your business, because if it saves you time, you're going to be more efficient, right? And you'll be able to help more people. And then really in the kind of grand scope of things, that means that you make more money, but you really get to help more people. So for those of you, you don't have to be in your energy medicine business in order to be a part of that 2-day training. It really could, be applied to any businesses. But I've been helping businesses all the way from like clothing boutiques that are held in person or online, realtors. I've had dentists come to my business trainings before, literally almost anything that you could possibly think of. But I am doing this 2-day business training because a lot of people are thinking right now what they want to do for 2022, especially with the new moon that is happening today. If you're thinking ahead, just go get signed up for that right now. I'm just super excited to be able to offer that 2-day training. And I have a guest speaker, Darren Adams, who really is going to be handling my email marketing portion of that. So if you guys are interested in that, this is the link that you're going to sign up for. But please feel free to message me if you don't get that as well, and I'd be happy to do that. Helen, girl, you're in West Point and you got a dress rental shop and I don't know about it. Well, guess what? I'm going to a gala at the end of the month and I'm going to need a dress. So I would love to come and check that out. That'll be so awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much and have a fantastic day. I appreciate you so much. And thanks for being who you are.
Thank you all too. Thanks for having me here.
Appreciate you guys. See ya. Bye-bye.